Come down. Ooh, you make my high come down. Always tripping when you come around. Never have to cut you out like right now. You see, I don't have to drive me. You can say that for your mama. Maybe you should smoke some. Me try the marijuana. I was loving you good. The vibe was straight. Showed you a couple of things and they feel strange. I treated you right. Everything was a gift from a time to your bag and the color on your lip.
Welcome to the Seahawks Man to Man podcast, powered by Blue Wire. Shout out to the new company. My name is Michael Sean Dugar. You guys can follow me on whatever Elon Musk is calling that app these days. My at name has not changed. It's also right there under my chin. For those who are watching on YouTube, at Mike Dugar, MikeDugar. Speaking of YouTube, shout out to everyone. We appreciate you showing love on our channel. Not at Seahawks Man to Man. Seahawks Man to Man is the name of the channel. Seahawks Man, the number 2 man. Same thing on Instagram and TikTok. Please like, follow, repost, reshare, comment, review, all the good buttons. Please press them for us on all those platforms. It means the world. Thank you so much. Chris, go ahead, talk to him.
What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Christopher Kidd. You can follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky at CKIDD206 and that's CKid206.
All right, this is our first post-game show after a loss in quite some time. It feels like, at least. When did the Seahawks last lose? The Bucks game? Yes. Yeah. Bucks game. It's been a minute. Seahawks lost today to the Los Angeles Rams in a hashtag big game here at SoFi Stadium with Warren G performing at halftime. That was cool. 21-19 was the final. The Seahawks fall to 7-3. The Rams improve to 8-2. Have a good little stranglehold. That's too strong, but they have the lead in the division, which is very notable. Pulling up the division standings now: Rams 8-2, Seahawks 7-3, Niners 7-4, Cardinals doing whatever the Cardinals are doing. So we're kind of low key back to a 3-team race, especially with Brock Purdy's going to play like that. Seahawks have a rematch with the Rams. Week 16, Thursday Night Football, and then they rematch the Niners in week 18. Those games are going to hashtag be big as well. But you guys have a lot of questions about what happened in this game. Me and Chris and I, whatever is grammatically correct, apply it there. We will answer all of them. First, I would just like to reiterate a point here, because we usually have something where me and Chris have like some, monologue before we get into questions. I have a very brief one today, which sums up, I think, what transpired here at SoFi Stadium. Sam Darnold's, and I said this in the offseason, it's still true. It's always been true. It's been true since USC. Sam's best 20 throws, they are, no joke, as good as anybody's best throws in the league. They're Mahomes, give me some guys, Josh Allen, Burrow, Lamar, name the guys you think are the best. Yeah, Stafford's, best. Herbert, Jalen Hurts is the deep ball. It's there. It's that. Even this year, Sam's best throws are some of the best throws in football. They're dots. They're perfect. They're great. They're teach tape stuff. And even the ones that aren't teach tape stuff, like that throw last week when he rolled left and hit JSN on the bomb, that's what every kid does at their pro day these days. These scripted pro day throws on air. They all do that because they want to get paid. Because if you can do that, you get paid, right? Sam's best stuff is his best stuff. But which has always been true, however, Sam's worst throws are bad. They're bad stuff. When Sam's at his worst, he looks unemployable, and that's why several teams have been like, we will no longer employ you, including the team that just won 14 games with him last year. And I don't think the Vikings should have done that, but they did. And this is part of why. Now, obviously, every quarterback can have bad games and bad throws, but I think you guys would agree with me, even before Sam became the quarterback, there is just something to okay, when this guy goes south, it goes real bad, and today they're a Jason Myers field goal away from winning anyway, but you can see it. And that's always been true. I've always felt that. Nothing I've seen before today changed that. But it's important to reiterate because Sam falls into that bucket of quarterbacks that you want to build the thing around as best you can and pray to whoever you believe in that those worst 20 don't pop up when your season's on the line. That's just it is what it is. And there's a lot of quarterbacks like that, to be fair. That's most of them in the league, I would say. Even guys who have won multiple playoff games. On the background of my TV right now is the Lions and Jared Goff. Lions are one of those teams. However, I've seen Jared Goff go to the NFC title game with two different teams and go to Super Bowl. So you can build around that type of guy. You just got to be prepared. You can have one of these games or multiple of these games where the money's on the floor, lights is bright, hashtag big game, and your guy has some of the worst plays he's had all year. It happens. It appears, I haven't watched this game, but it appears to be happening to Goff right now. We've seen it happen to him before. That's happened to a lot of guys. I think it happens to Lamar, to be honest. He's one of those guys as well. So it's not the end of the world, but it is the reality of the situation. And that was true yesterday. That was true a month ago. That was true in February. That was true last January when he played for the Vikings. The best of Sam is outstanding. It'll make you want to give him $100 million. The worst of Sam is bad. It'll make you want to go and see which quarterbacks are declaring for the draft. That's the reality. Again, there's a lot of quarterbacks like that. Kyler Murray also falls in that bucket. Trevor Lawrence also falls in this bucket. Okay? So keep that in mind as we continue to dissect this, because that's the truth now. It'll be the truth a month from now and 2 months from now. They're just hoping that they build it around them enough so that those worst 20 don't show up. And if they do, they don't show up all at once like they did today.
Yeah, that was tough to watch. He really did not play good football for the most part of the game. As you mentioned, they were a field goal away, and he led them there. But thank God the Seahawks defense was so good in the second half because the game should have been over. 14-3. He's already thrown a pick. It's not looking very good for your team. It's really not. So the fact that they were able to keep it close and the defense kept giving opportunity after opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, and to only lose by 2, the Seahawks might take that as a moral victory, albeit no one in that locker room will ever say that. They want to win the game. They want to be 8-2. That's just the situation that they want to be in. That's not the case, though. On the outside looking in, I would say, yeah, you know what? Pat yourself on the back there. The defense asked for opportunities to be put in positions where they can't give up nothing. And in the second half, they did that for the most part. They didn't give up much of anything. They were stout in the run defense, and they made it tough on Matthew Stafford, who coming in was on a heater. And we had Nate Atkins, who covers the Rams for the Athletic, talk about how much of a heater he was in. He was throwing 4 touchdowns for each in his last, I think, 3 games. I think he had thrown 13 touchdowns and no interceptions. Seahawks handled that. I think he threw for like 170 or something. So not his best day. And the Seahawks had a lot to do with that, with how the defense was just getting after him. And albeit the run game had a few question marks early in the first half, but in the second half, they shut that down, and the Rams weren't able to move the ball effectively. So that's one thing you can take from it, and Sam just has to be better. He really does, and it was on this opportunity where you're going up against a team that the Seahawks have struggled with in recent years, as Mike McDonald has not beat Sean McVay. I'm not counting that game last year towards the end of the season. At the end of the season, where Sean McVay sat all his starters and the Seahawks won that game. That's cool and all, but when it matters most, the Seahawks have to figure it out. The good news is they get an opportunity to play these Rams again. If everyone's healthy, maybe the Seahawks will have a couple of guys back. I don't think they'll have Julian Love back, so maybe not. But nonetheless, they'll have an opportunity to really hammer home that they can win this type of game, because yet again, Sam didn't get it done when he needed to. Yes, you can say it's on Myers for missing, but he also had 4 interceptions. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4. And the fact that they were within 2 points, if one of those he just takes a sack or just doesn't throw it away, who knows how the outcome of this game changes, how this outcome changes. So that's just a thing that Sam's going to go back and watch the tape, I'm sure, and really just maybe take a sack here and there. Because, yeah, it sucks to get sacked, but you have Michael Dixon. You paid him $1 gazillion to punt the football. Let him do his thing. He's really good at that. So, as you can see, the Rams were able to have their punter get it at the 1-yard line, and they had to march, making it very close. I mean, they were within 1 second of losing the game. The Seahawks were within 1 second of losing the football game, but as Mike talked to me off wax about it, they had a clock manager over there that was being very, very generous. And thank you, Mike. Yeah, not Sam Darnold, but Matthew Stafford, he threw for 130 yards. If you just looked up the Seahawks stats, didn't look at the score, you just looked up the Seahawks stats for the opponents. Matthew Stafford throwing, receptions for Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, you probably say, damn, did the Seahawks win? Don't look at the turnovers on Sam Darnold's page. Ignore that. Just look at what the Seahawks did against the Rams. You might think they won that game, but doesn't tell the whole story. Stats are stats. But for the most part, I really liked how the defense played with their backs against the wall, and Sam just has to be much better in these type of games. He really does. I think he's 0-3 now when the ball is basically like, hey, Sam, can you win this game in the fourth quarter? The answer has been no. So that's something that they got to figure out, and they got to figure out fast because the season is closing down pretty quickly. Going into week 12 next week, you gotta have that signature win where Sam Darnold does his thing and is able to lead this team to a victory. Not because the defense did something. Sam, can you be the reason why the Seahawks won a game? Because I don't know if this is going to be something he can do in the playoffs where you're down 6. Can Sam get you a touchdown? Obviously an extra point as well, but those are big time moments. And then one other thing that I wanted to get to is the fact that in that first half, man, the Seahawks, if you guys didn't peep this, I ended up rewatching the game after the game. I was like, let me see what I can glean from this. And one thing that I noticed that was just crazy to me was on the Seahawks' third possession. The Seahawks started at the 35, 104 left in the first quarter. They ended up making a field goal with 9:07 left in the half. So in the second quarter, they just chewed up like 6 minutes. And they only ended up with 3, so it's 14-6. Not to mention, the Hawks' fourth drive starts at the Seattle 8. They took the entire second quarter off. They got the ball with 7:47 left in the second quarter. You got to find a way to score a touchdown. I know in hindsight, you're thinking, well, Chris, the Seahawks kicked the ball first to start the game, so they get the ball in the second half. That's a win. But now that the game has been played, it's like, it would have been nice to maybe get a touchdown there. And Mike and I have gone back and looked at the play. There was nothing available. There was nothing open on that third down, third and goal from inside the 5. There was nothing open. So Sam just had to throw it away. But man, to go on that fourth drive after you get a field goal, you get points, you make it 14-6. The Rams' fourth possession, they don't do much of anything. Byron Murphy, they try to throw a quick pass to the running back because Matthew Stafford is under pressure, and Byron just makes an incredible play. They end up losing, I think, 5 yards. And then they hand it to number 22. I think that's the backup Corm running back. He gains a little 6 yards. So now it's third and manageable, 3rd and 9, 3rd and long, I should say. And, of course, number 0, everyone's favorite. Who's number 0, Mike? Oh, yeah, DeMarcus Lawrence. He gets pressure on Stafford, throws it away, punt. And then you get the ball with 7:47 left in the half. You have a really good drive, and it ends in a field goal. You just chewed up all the time. And obviously, you don't want to give the Rams anything. I mean, hell, at that point, I wouldn't be mad if they went for it. But that's in hindsight. That's after we saw how the game has gone. But those are just plays that when the Seahawks go back and look at the film, there's going to be a few things that they probably want back where maybe they could have had a touchdown. Maybe they could have had a better run here or there. But to have that fourth drive end in a field goal now when you look at it, that's some tough stuff. Not to mention, as I mentioned earlier, they had 2 drives. Their third drive that I mentioned towards the end of the first quarter going into the second quarter where they had the ball for just about 6 minutes. And then obviously their fourth drive when they had the ball starting with 7:47 left in the half. And then you only get 3. 6 points in like 20 minutes of possession is it's pretty nasty work. And Mike gave it to me. In total, they had the ball for 14 minutes with those 2 drives and only got 6 points. Those are things that you're going to be like, damn, how can we get touchdowns? And that's something that they're going to probably attack moving forward because I think this team is definitely capable. I think maybe the play calling needs to be more aggressive in that scenario, especially with the defense playing so well. I think the way the Seahawks defense has been playing, I say go for the end zone. What do you have to lose at this point? You got one of the best defense, if not the best defense in the NFL. Attack. You got JSN. Give him a one-on-one opportunity. See if you can make something work. You also have Cooper Kupp, who's still good at getting open in intermediate routes. And now you got Rashid Shaheed. So in my opinion, there's no excuse for them not getting a touchdown on at least one of those drives. And I think they'll look back at them and be like, damn, yeah, we missed on that, and that's something they can definitely work on moving forward.
Yeah, no, that series was bad. I didn't recognize it. Yeah, 14 minutes, 47 seconds between those two drives, 6 points. The Rams had the ball for one drive in the second quarter. They gained 1 yard. One. That was it. 1 yard. And we're leading. So I mean, there's some positives and negatives to take away. We'll get to all that. You guys had some good questions. Then we got a voicemail in there as well. So you guys did a good job making sure we get to everything within our stuff. We just had to get that off. Not a full "I told you so" on Sam, because that would be unfair to Sam. But yeah, we've seen that movie before. So yeah, well, here's you guys. Let's start with you guys' voicemails before we get to your questions.
Hey guys, big fan here. My name is Everett. I grew up in Olympia, but now I live down south in Memphis, Tennessee. Big fan of the pod. Earlier in the year, you talked about the stability of offensive coaches, offensive assistant coaches with the head coach that's a defensive play caller rather. And you talked about how you kind of want to be, ideally, obviously offensive coaches get poached a little bit more. And so ideally you want an offensive coach with an offensive assistant coach who is middling around top 9 offense. And we've surpassed that already this year. Do you think that there is a risk of Clint Kubiak leaving this year or next year even? Thank you.
Hey, appreciate the question. Yeah, there's always going to be a risk, when you have a good offense. Let me see, where do the Seahawks rank in points per game right now? They are, wait, no, really? Wow, Seahawks are second in points per game behind the Colts. Wow, that's really impressive. And then where they have points per drive. That's a little bit. They score on defense and special teams. So let me make sure I got it. Okay. They're 9th in points per drive, tied with the Patriots. That makes more sense. I was like, that's not the best scoring offense in the league. Yeah, when you have an offense that good, people are gonna call. You're gonna get the what's the word I want? The nepotism bump there for Clint. His dad was a head coach, so it's like maybe he's got the coaching chops. Blah blah blah. I would be surprised though if that teams go through with that. Clint doesn't seem like a leader guy. Put my fist in that one, leader guy. To like nail the interviews and things like that. Maybe he's just like that because he's the OC now. And if he was like really had to be the head coach, he'd kind of come out the shell a little bit. And I do think it's a little different than Mike Macdonald. I do think Mike Macdonald is like leader guy in a way that you don't have to be like Dan Campbell, like win press conference guy. Like Nick Sirianni didn't win his press conference. His was famously awful. But he's clearly leader guy over there in Philly. So yeah, I think there's a fear for sure. Or concern. There's a lot of jobs that are going to be open. Let's look around the league here. Giants is already open. Who else? Somebody else is already open. Titans is open. Let's see. Browns could be open. They suck. Dolphins could be open. They suck. Cincinnati sucks. I don't know why I would. Anybody can coach Burrow. Let's see. Who else? Anybody else that need coach here? Let's see. Could fire the Cardinals coach. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Falcons. I'd be surprised by if Raheem's still there by the time this pod drops. You can't keep losing to the Panthers, dog. he really just can't. It's just bad. Yeah, there's plenty of jobs that could be open. He's a coordinator. His dad was a head coach. I'm going back to Clint. So yeah, perfect. I think the Seahawks would be fine if they chase what they chased with Clint and finding a guy who knows an established system. That was all. Plenty of guys can run the Shanahan thing, or you could be a guy from the McVay tree I just want someone who's called plays before, if that's the case, and that runs like an established system, not like Grubb was like, I never coached the NFL before. No one knows what my system is. So yeah, not that. Yeah, it's a legitimate concern. I do think, I still think the perfect world is you get a situation where you got like guy who calls plays on one side of the ball, and then the guy on the other side of the ball has already failed as a head coach, and then now he's just not going nowhere because no one wants to hire him again. Now, you can't guarantee that no one will hire him again. Like someone will probably hire Brian Flores again, even though that didn't work in Miami. Someone might even hire Spags again, even though that hasn't worked, when he was a head coach. So But those guys have been really good coordinators, and there's a chance they could be there for a long time. There's probably some other examples around the league I can't think of right now. But yeah, that's Cliff Kingsbury is one. Although I guess DQ calls the plays there now because their DC sucks. But like maybe someone just doesn't ever want to hire Cliff Kingsbury again, so he just stays there and he's your OC for the long haul. There's some other spots where that could be the case as well. I do think that's still like an ideal thing. Cleveland has that as well. Kevin Stefanski doesn't call the plays anymore, but he was on offense, and then Jim Schwartz has been in a DC before, and their defense is nasty. And who's hiring Jim Schwartz again, right? And I think I don't know who calls. Their DC got sick up there in New England, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but you really want to get a situation like the Patriots OC, Josh McDaniels. I don't think anybody should hire him again, but he's just very clearly a good OC. Like, find your Josh McDaniels if you're Mike McDonald. That's the goal. Maybe it's Kubiak, maybe it's somebody else, but yes, I do believe that's the goal, and I do believe that's something that they could have to chase if Kubiak gets hired this offseason. And teams should at least interview Kubiak. He bombs the interview, so what? He has earned some interviews for sure.
So we got about 3 different people talking about the same thing, and that's regarding the final drive, where it seemed like the pacing was a little slow. So shout out to Plantum Menace on Instagram, MarMD on Twitter, and Rumpelstiltskin on Twitter as well. They all want to know, Mike, man, that clock managed the last drive. What the hell was that all about?
Yeah, no, so I can see how you guys will be watching like, yo, what are we doing? Quietly. So the last 2 drives, right, that we're talking about the end of the first half.
Yeah, so we're talking about the end of the game and I believe the first half as well. The last 2 drives in the second half, yeah. Okay,
so let's go to the end of the game. Because at the end of the first half, I can see why you kick there. You guys know me. I'd have for sure gone for it. Go for it. I think the only way I would maybe consider kicking at the end of the first half is to start. Forget it. Let's just go there real quick. They kicked on like 3rd or 4th and goal from like the 3 or something like that. The reason that I would have considered that is because one of the benefits of going for it on like 4th and goal or whatever during the regular game flow is that the other team is now backed up. So like, yeah, we don't get it on the 2. Well, now they have to go 98 yards or whatever to score, or at least like 60 something to get in field goal range, right? And they're backed up, right? So you lose that benefit when you go for it at the end of the half. I understand that. I agree with that logic. I left Mike McDonald's press conference after he said that he doesn't know anything about Gray's Able. I was like, all right, buddy, that's all I'm here for. So I'm gonna leave. So I don't know if he maybe talked about that later. I gotta check the transcripts. But if that was his logic, even though I'm #never kick, I can understand why you're like, well, like, we don't get it. There's no advantage. We just get the ball again later, but that's it. They don't have to go 98 yards, so I understand. The end of the second half, though, I actually thought they played that out all right. They had to go like 84 yards or something like that with like 6 minutes left. And at that point, when you get the ball, which they were down 9, at that point, you really just need to score before the 2-minute warning. Sure, score as fast as possible. But the goal is, which they ended up doing, score with 2:23 left. That's fine. I thought they handled that fine. The trick bag that they were in, which it sounds like they were talking about on the broadcast, is, okay, you want to hurry up a little bit. But the thing is, you don't know how you're going to score. And I say that, when you're down 9, a field goal is in play. You're not down 14, so you're just trying to just go. No. If you get to 3rd and 5 from the 24, like, okay, let's make sure we can take our time and execute this play if we need to. We can huddle up or whatever. We don't need to be in full hurry up mode, because if we don't get it, we can kick a 42-yard field goal or whatever that would be. And they got in a predicament like that, I believe. They ended up sneaking it, I think. So you can get in those spots there. It's like, okay, we're in a rush, but any score can help us here. So I get that. That actually I thought was fine. And again, you want to score before the 2-minute warning. They did. 2:23 left. Absolutely perfect. Because then the other team can still get a first down, and you could still win. You can get the ball back, which is exactly what happened. The Rams got a first down on the first play by Puka. Looks like on an 18-yard run. Great call by them, by the way. I respected Sean McVay for that, saying, okay, well, we clearly cannot run it up the gut. Clearly. So let's try to hit the perimeter. Thought that was a great call. Thought Mike McDonald adjusted very good right back because he tried it again and Kobe blew that up. So good chess match there by those guys. But anyway, so they got the ball back. And at that point, yeah, the time management by the play calls wasn't I didn't trip about. It was just the speed of like Sam processing. Like one of them, he scrambled for a long time just to throw incomplete. I think he scrambled for like 7 seconds. Or the play took about 7 seconds. That's a no-no. They didn't call time after one of Jax's catches, I think. They let a lot of time go before that. So that was tough. Got bailed out by the DPI. But ultimately, I thought they played that as because you got to hold that timeout. Because the timeout, yeah, you can use the whole field. You need that because there's a scenario where they use the timeout after one of those catches, their final one, and now it's like, okay, well, we stopped the time, but now we can't use the whole field, which limits how much time we can use then to get our field goal team on, clock it, whatever. So I can see the gripes in real time, but like going back and looking at it, even watching in real time, I was like, yeah, you're moving a little slow here, but you ultimately got to where you needed to get to. You got in field goal range. You're able to use your timeout. Like Chris mentioned, I could not believe that clock operator was a Boy Scout and left. I mean, there's no way. There's no way I'm leaving time on the clock. I don't know who employs the clock guys. It might just be like whoever works for the home team. I don't think it's like a third-party NFL appointed person like the concussion guys are. Boy, I'd have let that clock. I'm like, I don't know, man. Shahid took a long time down there, so game's over there. Maybe they review it and reverse it, but I'd have made him have to do it. Because that boy, he was like Scout's honor. There's a second left because that was close. Because that play, no, not only did it, Chris, that was crazy. That was like a hitch to the field, so to the far side of the field. It was on the back side of the play. It's like his third read. You telling me his third read only took 4 seconds? All right, come on, y'all. But anyway, they got it off. But I generally think that they handled that as probably about as best you could without taking any super deep shots, because here's the other problem too. If you're Kubiak and Sam, you're like, well, I don't necessarily just want to chuck it deep because it could get picked because they're catching everything today. Otherwise, I'd have been like, oh, play for a DPI, trust your guys downfield, something like that. No. This was not the day. This was not the day to do that. What did Sam end up throwing for? 279?
Yep, 279.
Yeah, a lot, but like his target, his was not an efficient day, really. It was a lot of balls to Jax, some underneath stuff to AJ, and then a bunch of nothing to everybody else, really. So yeah, it wasn't great. So in general, I think it's all defensible. That's how I'll end this question segment. It's all the clock management stuff was ultimately defensible. I think maybe I'll watch it again and feel a little different, but just here on Sunday night, I'm like, wasn't the end of the world. They did get bailed out by that clock operator, but at the same time, Chris, otherwise the alternative would be kicking from 49 or throwing a Hail Mary, and neither one of those were going to work. So you go for it, you give it a shot, you hope that J. Mike can hit from 61, and he couldn't. I don't know how much they showed on the broadcast. Boy, that kick had no chance. It's not funny.
It was over.
Did they show how short that was? It was short, wide right.
Short. He missed. It wasn't like, damn, he didn't put enough leg into it. Nah, it wasn't going in. Even if he put enough leg into it, it was too far to the. Yeah, not a good kick. But they were within a kick to win it. That's all you could ask for in a situation where your quarterback throws 4 interceptions. This next one is from Chris Leeper. Why does Mike McDonald keep being so conservative on 4th down?
Yeah, so there were 2 ops that I thought were most pertinent. The first one was when we talked about the end of the first half. Like, you guys know me. I would have gone for it. That's just me. I'm going for it. And they did go for a 4th down, I believe, with a barnyard or a sneak or something like that. They did. So, I mean, he's not totally like, old school Pete with the 4th downs. That one I thought was also defensible for the reasons we talked about. The other one was actually kind of interesting. And I know, Chris, you said you watched the game on mute. But it sounds like Greg Olsen wanted them to go for it on 4th and 1 from like their own 40. It sounds like after
I heard him say that. Yeah, I had him.
Yeah. Did he say what his logic was on that?
The defense for the Seahawks have been playing so good. What do you have to lose here? it's a tough decision to make, and he said that Mike Macdonald's making the right call, but he perhaps might have gone for it. To paraphrase.
Yeah, so that was I'm pulling up my notes here. So yeah, that was they started the ball at their own 31. The score was 14-12. So here's why the defense is playing well thing can get a little dicey. You're playing the result here. Yes, it's 14-12. You did just get a stop. But the reason you got a stop on that other drive is because Devontae dropped the ball.
No, Mike, you were 1,000% right. I tweeted out during the game, like, the Rams are trying to lose this game. Puka Nacua fumbles the football. Okay, albeit I'll give credit to Kobe. Great punch out. But the next possession, we're talking about Devontae Adams. 10 times out of 10, he's catching that. So don't act like the Seahawks did anything special there. Devon just got to catch the football, and we're not talking about this. Continue.
Yeah, no, so it's I can understand why in totality you can watch the game from Greg's and maybe you guys watching at home like, well, let's go for that. It's a yard. They're not going to stop a bunch of barn yards in a row. Defense is playing well. The defense, yes, it was playing well, but like you were also playing with fire those last two drives. Like their last two drives ended with, as Chris just said, their best player fumbling it and their second best player dropping the ball. So, it's not like schematically they had hit some button to figure everything out. I can see like wanting them to drive the length of the field there. As much as I'm a #never kick person, again, I thought that was a defensible fourth down decision there. And yeah, it was like 5 minutes and some change left, or 3.5 left from their own 40. So I get it. I'm the #never kick guy, but if the logic is, that's why I wanted to hear what Greg said. The logic is, well, your defense is playing nails. Trust them. I don't know if the punch out and the Devontae drop are like you're killing it. You know what I mean? So those are good plays. Those are good plays with defense. But Devontae catches that ball on Job. You guys don't even have the ball. So and that's part of the game too. Drops and fumbles. But yeah, I it's a rare instance there where I agree. Also, your guy had just fumbled. AJ coughed the ball up on that drive. That drive started with AJ fumbling
and it bounced right back to him.
Yeah, he got lucky bounced there. So
got lucky. Yeah.
Yeah. So then on the next drive, when they do punt, the Rams move the ball a little bit, but they almost get a 3rd and 15 on a screen to Puka. They get 14 yards and then they punt. So yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. I'm surprised McVay didn't go for it there. I thought he was going to. I know it was on their 39.
Yeah, let me see where that was. Yeah, so they got the ball on their 12. They got 4 yards, then false started, then got 12 yards. Josh got a PBU. Devontae missed something, then a fall. That's what it was. He probably just didn't trust their operation. They had 2 false starts on that drive. So that's tough. But yeah, I probably would have gone for that too. But they were probably our defense is playing well. And then
what they said.
The next drive was a pick.
Worked out for them pretty well.
Yeah, it was. So, they were defensible. I agree with some of Mike's decisions. I disagree with others, but they were all defensible. I can say that. I think he can cite a good process there. I should say.
This is from our girl at Ease World. Do you feel that Sam's performance on Sunday versus the Rams was an outlier or indicative of what can come in games against, I don't know, good teams?
Yeah, I mean, Sam's played good against. I think the Bucs are like a good team. They're not a great team. The Bucs are good. He played well, So he can play well against a good team. Although, Chris, I just tried to come up with another example off the top of my head, and I could not. So, did they play anybody else? I think is good.
The Texans. No. I don't know.
The Texans are not good. Wow. Their defense is good, and he played well against them, but he also turned the ball over.
That was going to be my next point. The defense is good. The team isn't, but
it would also he turned the ball over a bunch against them as well. So
yeah, not a good recipe. Hey,
I don't think the Jags are good, though. Sam did play well in that game. That's not as good as I would have thought there. Is the Sam
play well against the Niners?
Yeah, didn't play well against the Niners. He played okay. He didn't play bad against the Niners. He played fine. I wouldn't say that was a bad game, but it wasn't a good game. It was just kind of whatever. So it was the Sam game today an outlier? it's an outlier in the statistics. Sam's probably not going to throw 4 interceptions again this year. I feel pretty confident about that. He's only done it, I think, 2 other times in his career, maybe. So I think they might have both been with the Jets. Like, he's just not going to play this bad in terms of turnovers. However, Sam is second in the league in turnover rate. Still, it's him and JJ McCarthy. It was him and Tua last week, and then Tua played a clean game today in Madrid, and then JJ played an awful game today, wherever that game was. And I think that was in Minnesota, and he has surpassed him. But it's close there. And for a second there, I almost jinxed Sam. I feel bad. So JJ McCarthy, let's see that turnover rate. I think his turnover rate was like 5.1%. Like, and when I say that, I mean turnovers per play. That's what I'm bringing up. If you guys are curious, JJ is at, I think he's at 5.1%. And there was a juncture in the game today where Sam was at 5%, and I was like, well, he shouldn't catch him as long as he doesn't just like fumble the ball or something. And then the next play was the fumble that got overturned. Like, literally, I texted that to my editor. I was like, yeah, as long as he don't like fumble or something, they'll be fine. He's not going to catch JJ. And then I was like, oh my God, I just jinxed this guy. I feel so bad. Like, I felt bad. I was like, what are the odds? And then it got overturned. So thank you. But yeah, Sam's at 4.7%. Here's the top 5 if you guys are curious. JJ's number 1. This is out of 34 quarterbacks. The bottom 5 or top 5, however you want to look at it, and highest turnovers per play. JJ's 1, Sam's 2, is 3, Gino is 4 at 3.7%, and then Bryce Young is 5 at 3.1%. There's a few guys at 3%, Flacco and Cam Ward. Wow, you want to talk about an age gap there between 2 guys playing equally yucky ball there. This Joe and Cam Ward. So yeah, Sam's turning it over quite a bit. So I do think Sam turning it over is not an outlier. How many today obviously was, but I think more important than the number is just how we get to the number. And how we get to the number, I do think is problematic. And like when I was watching the game, particularly the jump pass, because I'm like, who does Sam think he is jumping and throwing the ball? Like, come on, dog. But when I saw that, I was like, okay, he just doesn't want to take a sack. I was like, he hasn't been sacked. He doesn't want to take one. He's just trying to do whatever to avoid sacks. And I was like, okay, but if his way of doing that is just letting it fly, well, that's bad too. Like, you got to remember when he played bad against the Rams last year in the wild card round, it wasn't that he turned the ball over a bunch. I think he only had 2. I think he got picked once, and then he had a fumble. That might have been a scoop and score as well. He had 9 sacks in that game. So I can easily see why Sam came in and was like, well, I got to get the ball out. Get the ball out. Well, he solved that problem. He got the ball out. Created a new problem. The other guys have the ball now. And it's like, if you solve one problem by just creating another one, well, then I'm just going to conclude then with enough data points that you are the problem. You know, and Sam was not the problem with the Seahawks, so to speak. That would be hyperbole. My point is that the Rams knew something. He would do something. They knew how to get him to do the thing. You know, I want to read this quote that Nate Atkins gave me. I think the guy, he might have been at the podium. Cam Kitchens, their safety. He had 2 picks, so I imagine he did some type of on-camera thing. So this is probably somewhere. It's not like exclusive interview, but he said, quote, "It's all about having that mental clock, that playmaking ability. The pass rush contains him, and he wants to get rid of the ball, and he's flinching up. He don't want to get sacked. He's just trying to get the ball out of his hands. So that's when I knew there was an opportunity." End quote. You know, and that just backed up. I'm glad that Nate gave me that quote, because I was like, that's how it looked. It looked like a team that knew, all right, guys, he's not going to hold the ball because we got him last time. So let's just jump stuff and get on the jugs machine this week. It's like playing Jameis. It's like, well, he's not going to hold on to the ball. He's going to give us a chance, you know, and we're going to go there and catch it. That's just what it is. I love watching Jameis. If I was a DB, I'd be on the jugs machine all week before I play him, because I know he's going to give me at least one. Jimmy G, Tua, there's just some guys. If I was playing Gino this year, in the jugs machine right now, he'd probably give me one. You know, there are just some guys like that. The Rams knew that, planned for it, and their DBs were aggressive. Like, look at the balls they were jumping. I think it was robber coverage on the first one, jumped an out route on the second one. Kitchens drove on that, called that like a little bang 8, the little Michael Irvin route to the Arroyo. Like, they were jumping stuff. They were aggressive because they knew. Read another quote from Kitchens. today. He said, quote, to most people's eyes, when they look at the stats, they'll see Darnold with 300 yards, JSN with 160 or something like that. But they don't see all the opportunities there are with the ball. JSN might go up over 2 or 3 people. To us, that's an opportunity. We feel like we have ball skills to go and make that play. If you want to test us like that, then we'll make you pay. End quote. And so when he's talking about the opportunities with the ball, he's talking about your quarterback puts it in harm's way. We're going to go get it. We know how to make him put it in harm's way. And good teams will do that. Good teams have done that. And I do think that's the problem you gotta fix. Now, easier said than done. There's only so many quarterbacks who avoid sacks and avoid turnovers. That's how you win MVP. It is. That's how you be like Lamar or Josh. But look at their numbers last year. They were both making big plays without taking sacks and without turning it up. That's ridiculous. That's prime Aaron Rodgers. It's hard to do that. That's why quarterbacks make as much money as they do. But Sam's inability to do that, I do think is of note. That's why he's was available to the Seahawks. It is. That's the truth. He's one of those guys who you're hoping, like, hey, when this really matters, hopefully you just don't be bad, because Sam's bad games are real bad. And again, this is not just a pick on Sam. There is a bazillion quarterbacks whose bad games are bad. Kyler Murray makes $45 million a year and just lost his job to Jacoby Brissett because his bad games are bad. It happens. It does. Tua stinks right now. His bad games are bad. Dak's bad games are bad. And I think Dak is great, So just Sam falls in that bucket as some of those guys. And I think this team in particular really knows. Really, they got something. They got something on. Part of it is just their pass rush is nails. And when you have a pass rush like that, you're just gonna be on it. But hey, you see how the attitude they came in with. It was like, yo, this guy's gonna give it to us. He's just bombing it to JSN. Let's go get it. Now they didn't today. Those plays weren't just a bunch of bombs to JSN, and they didn't do like the greatest job in the world on Jax, who still went over 100, I believe. Good for him. But yeah, I do think this was a problem. This is a legit problem they have. Sam's gonna probably throw for like 400 yards and 3 tugs against the Titans or whatever, and I'm not gonna care. And you guys won't either, because you're gonna now. Because Chris, people sent us the Stephen A. rant. Thank you guys who tagged all of us in the Stephen A. rant when he was ranking his best teams. Our first take, it was absolutely glorious. Everything we wanted. He said they were the best team in the league. He couldn't even get Jax's full name out. He was like, they got Njigba. He's like, I don't even want to try to say the rest. He said Sam, and that's it. But in another segment on First Take, he was like, I don't believe in Sam. He got to do it in the playoffs. He got to do it in a big game. Plenty of people feel that way. You know what those people are not moved by today? Today they're like, exactly. They're like, this is what we're talking about. And he did nothing to shut him up. Nothing. I thought he would, but he didn't. And until he does, you're going to be people like Stephen A. and whoever else, and fans even, other teams are going to be like, cool, that's cool. That stuff is cute when the other teams suck. But come over here when the lights is bright, and let's see 14 spin. And until he spins, there's people who just going to not believe.
This next one is from Carlo Coleman. Sam acknowledged in the presser that the last drive felt different, and it was because they went tempo. Why is that not the default for the Seahawks when things are working offensively?
Good question. I feel like we used to get this a lot when Russ was the quarterback, because Russ used to love tempo, ask for it all the time. Darrell Bevel would be like, yeah, I hear you, but no. And then Shoddy, the same thing. It's like, yeah, we go 2 minute. It's great, but no. And then because there's extremes to things, and you can't live on the extreme. You can't just be an up-tempo team, right? And to do tempo, typically you need first downs as well. Because if it doesn't work and you're not getting any first downs, like to start your drives, you're just putting your defense right back out there. And that's how you go watch the Chip Kelly Eagles. That was their problem. They're like, defense is like, yo, Chip, we can't even sit down and have no adjustments because y'all either scoring super fast or it's a 3 and out. That's just not helping us. Like sometimes you just need to possess the ball, which, as Chris mentioned earlier, they did a great job of. They had 2 7-minute drives in the first half. That's actually good stuff. That's why I'm not really caught up on going up tempo. they moved the ball just fine when they were like layering their paces. Like sometimes we go no huddle, sometimes we huddle, sometimes we get up on the ball and talk about it, sometimes we get up on the ball and go. I actually think they've been doing a really good job of balancing all that this year. And then yeah, sometimes you just need a long drive. Those two drives that from the end of the first all the way to basically to halftime, get the ball for basically a quarter. That's great. That's good balance. I like that. You got first downs on the ground. You got first downs to the air. I think there was a couple penalties in there on the Rams defense. Got a barnyard in there. Like that's good stuff to me. You can't just always, all right, let's go, let's go, let's go. Because sometimes you won't go. Sometimes you'll get sacked. Sometimes you'll throw incomplete and now it's 3rd and 9 or whatever. And it's like, oh, well, if we don't get this, our defense is right back out there. And that's bad complimentary ball. You can't do that all the time. No team does, for what it's worth. The best offenses in the league. Who's the best? Indy, they don't do that. The Bills, they don't do that. Chiefs, they don't do that. Damn, the Rams that's a good offense. So no team does that. You have to layer. You can't just play tempo all the time. The Cardinals tried that a little bit and they suck at it. So you don't want to do that. So I actually think that the 2-minute stuff is good. You got to be good at that as well. But I also think you got to be able to be methodical. I thought they actually did a really good job of that. They moved the ball well. You know, Chris, they had 400 yards of offense today. That's pretty impressive. 7 of their 12 drives ended in Rams territory. They were moving the pill on these guys. And yeah, they had the couple 2-minute drives at the end. That's just not a world you can live in. And sometimes they do go like, okay, let's hit it. Let's hit it quick. They did that to the Commanders a couple times where it was like, oh, let's go. We don't even need to huddle. Let's roll. But you can't do that every time. You just got to pick and choose your spots. But I also think it's really important that I think they go into last thing on this. They go into a lot of drives trying to do that. But if you don't get that first down, then you're cooked. Like you can have a plan to be like, all right, let's go under center, couple runs, get to 3rd and 3, convert, and then once we convert, let's roll. And they've done that a few times this year where it's like, all right, we just converted. All right, same personnel, no subs, no huddle. Let's roll. Let's catch them. Let's catch them breathing heavy. And they do that. They do a good job of it. You just can't live in that 2-minute world all the time.
This next one comes from Matt S. Jail. How do you feel about the run game today, specifically the toss game?
That's for you.
I'll be honest, the toss was successful in a few plays on Sunday. It works well when everything has been executed, but the film tells me that they've run the toss 10 times and they've been bad at it 6 times. The math says just don't do it. So while they did today and it was successful in the few tosses that they had, one for Charbonnet to the right, I think went for like 8 yards. That threw one to K9 that went for like 7 or 6. It can be effective in certain times when they execute it. And a lot, as I mentioned, if I just took a sample size, they are not the best at it. But when the past 2 games they've ran it, it's worked. So maybe it's the execution of it. I know I've talked about not being a big fan of it because it never works. But so far they're saying, yeah, we can execute it and we can make it work. So as long as they keep executing it at a high level, I think they can throw it in there. So that's going to be something to keep an eye out for, getting on perimeter, getting those fat men moving and getting up to that second level and destroying DBs. That's what you want. The Rams had that a few times on Sunday. Actually, tight ends got up there. But nonetheless, if the Seahawks can continue to get Zach Charbonnet in some space and hopefully he can make a guy miss or two or just ram through somebody, then that's a win for the Seahawks run game, which also opens up the play action pass for Sam Darnold, who is in the play action pass. He's probably one of the best in the NFL up there with Jared Goff and the company. So when they can do that effectively, the offense looks really well. And you saw that against the Commanders. You saw that in all their wins for the most part, outside of the turnovers.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you some numbers here. I actually didn't look at these until now. So the 3 running backs combined for 110 yards on 28 attempts. That's 3.8 carries and 6 first downs, which is fine. Oh, it's George Halani in here. Let me filter George Halani out. That sounds mean, but the reason I'm doing that is because his 2 carries for 3 yards are kind of just like messing up this sample for me, and I don't really think that's instructive. Although for some reason they're just insistent on giving him carries here. It's very, very awkward. So Ken and Zach combined for here we go. This is more indicative. 104 yards, 27 carries, 3.9 a pop. Ken with a much higher success rate. In part because he had the tug, and then Ken had 5 first down runs today. Wow. And then Zach had just the 1. Wow, just one, huh? So yeah, actually good run game today. Decent enough. The run game I don't think was the problem. It was just the guy throwing the ball. That was the issue there. Threw it to the other in some bad spots too. Short fields, just all the like if you're gonna throw some picks, like throw it in double coverage into the end zone from the 40. So it's a touchback. Like don't I think they returned one of those picks to the 3. Well, now you just cooked your defense, Sam. Like that's just not fair. Like the fact that the defense even got him to 4th and 1, you owe them like lunch. And to Sam's credit, he did say like, "I wish I played better for the defense." I'm sure they wish that too. All right, yeah. What else we got?
This next one is from Chickens and Mental's caretaker. Now that we're in the thick of November, is it time for less load management for Ken Walker? My guy needs more touches.
Yeah, man. I'm just not. Full disclosure, I got Ken on a couple fantasy teams. Besides that, dog, what I don't understand the running back rotation here. It is very clear who the most dynamic catcher with the person in the running back room is. Not to say Zach is not good. Zach's good. George is good. But like there's nothing to me to suggest that with more touches, Ken would not be more dynamic. Like he's not just doing well with the touches he gets because it's like low volume so he can maximize efficiency. I think if you treated Ken like Devon A-Chain, he'd perform like Devon A-Chain. And if you guys watch any Dolphins games, I mean, God bless you, but like I do, and they treat him like a dynamic playmaker. They treat Bijan like a dynamic playmaker. They treat Jonathan Taylor like a guy you build something around. There are just some guys who are like that, and Ken's like that to me. So yeah, it's very confusing too. It's like it doesn't feel like any of these guys can really get into a rhythm because it's just like, all right, I had a 9-yard run, now I'm out. Or I had a 9-yard run, and then my next carry goes for 1 yard, now I'm out. It's just kind of weird. Yeah, I don't like it. And if it is, I don't know if it's a load management thing, to be very clear. But if it is, what you saving it for? Like it's so weird. And if it's one of those things where I don't think Clint Kubiak or KP, their running backs coach, cares about like contract stuff or anything. I think that's really all the general manager stuff care about. But dog, it definitely feels like they're like, yeah, we don't want this guy feeling like we need to cash him out. That's what it feels like. Like if I was Ken agent, if I was Ken mom, his dad, if I was his people's, I'd be like, yo, they're just trying to make sure my guy don't get no stats. What's going on? Because like part of that 2-minute stuff you guys are mentioning, asking about was them giving Ken the ball because Ken's explosive. Make a guy miss and get upfield, like really impressive. So yeah, if it is low management, it's been time to get rid of that, man. Give 9 the ball, let 9 spin. I understand they don't want him pass pro in that much. There's ways around that though. But yeah, you got to get this guy the ball, dog. He's very easily one of your best, if not like your best guy with the ball in his hands to me. You can maybe argue Shaheed right after Jax, who's clearly the best, but yeah, there's no reason for them to be like this by committee thing, unless he's dealing with an injury. To my knowledge, he's not. Like treat him like these other guys who are getting the chances to really go help their Gibbs. I forgot about Gibbs. That's probably the best example. Yeah, treat him like that, like the Saints would treat Kamara. He's that. It doesn't mean you can't give Zach the ball, but right now they're just like, it feels like the running backs coach is just like closing his eyes and like picking a number between 1 and 10, and the guy closest to the number gets to go on the ball on any given drive. It doesn't feel like there's any rhyme or reason to it, which is really annoying.
This next one is from Mike's friend Sid. Last year in November, I asked if the Seahawks got the best receiver in the 2023 draft, and I kind of forgot about Puka. A year later, I'm asking the same question, including Puka.
Yeah, I mean, Jax is probably, Puka's really good too, man. Like you can see all the ways that you can use someone like Puka. But yeah, I mean, you can call Jax better right now. Jax is still, wow, look at this. Jax has got 1,146 yards. The next closest guy is Jamar Chase with 861. That is a massive lead over the next guy. Yeah, Jax is averaging 114 yards per game. Now, Puka is averaging 94. Like, that's also a really good season, too. And then Drake London's averaging 90. And he doesn't even have a quarterback. So it's also very impressive. It's I'd say it's even. I'd say if you're like a Rams fan, you're like, yeah, our guy's better. If you're a Seahawks fan, you're like, all right, our guy's better. I have no reason to really what's that quarrel? I have no quarrel, no qualms. One of them words that start with a Q. I ain't got none of that with anyone who feels in either direction. I do think that they needed to do a better job manufacturing some stuff for Jax today. It felt like he went quiet there. I can't like he had like 4 catches for like 54 yards or 59 yards. I want to say in the first like few series, and then felt like he went ghost there for a little bit. But that's either on Kubiak, on receivers coach, Jake Peets, the passing game coordinator, somebody like, hey, it's been a little bit. Let's go feed Jax. Let's go make this happen. Whether it's running the ball to him, you guys know I hate screens, but Jax is good at them, so you can make those shake. But yeah, whether or not he's the best, I do think that's got to be more like when your offense really needs it, when it needs something easy, you got to make that shake. They also need to do a better job getting him some red zone action too, and some goal line stuff. That probably contributed to the frustration today. I'm trying to think. He drew the DPI. Oh no, that wasn't on the goal line. Doesn't look like he got a lot of goal line action today. Yeah, he needs that. You gotta. He's not gonna. He gets double covered and stuff too, but yeah, you gotta find a way to get 11 the ball down there. If Devontae can get all these one-on-ones, so can Jax. Devontae's gonna go in the Hall of Fame, and yet somehow still gets one-on-one coverage on the goal line because of what they do schematically. So it can be done. Because sometimes I'd be just like, yo, how is he one-on-one every time? It don't make no sense. And he's not literally every time, but you guys get the point. So yeah, Puka's good, Jax is good. Seahawks perspective, get the ball to Jax. Manufacture some easy stuff for him when your offense is in a funk, or if your quarterback is in a funk like he was today.
Speaking of the quarterback, we got 2 questions about the quarterback, and I'll mix and dabble here, but it's from Kimwell and Mayonnaise on Blue Sky. Mayonnaise, I should say. Looking at the interceptions, anything to learn there, or this guy's been listening to our show for quite some time, or does Sam just need to, and I quote, skate better?
Yeah, the skate better reference is from one of my favorite Disney movies. I think it's called Brink. And his mom, he's like a skateboarder kid, X Games guy, rollerblade and all that stuff. I don't need to recap the whole movie, but there is a scene in the movie where his mom gives him some advice, and she's just like, skate better. And he just acts like he discovered fire. He's just like, what? Wow. Skate better. Skate better. That's what I need to do. Skate better. And then he skates better, and then they win the big thing, whatever it is. I don't think that's the case here with Sam, because I think all of the decisions today were bad, not just the throw itself, because the ball sails on you, whatever. That just happens. That's football. I'm not really tripping about that. Today was like, oh, I don't even need the all 22. Just give me the replay, and I'll tell you if this was bad. The first one, bad. You're off your back foot, trying to throw the cup. Safety's reading it all the way. Didn't even see him. Bad. The other one, I think it was 3rd and 9. They run a stunt. Bradford doesn't pick it up. Byron Young's coming right at you. You throw it off your back foot, or just leaning back again, which he can make that throw. But you guys see that the DB squatting on the out route to Jax there. Because the DB didn't even, on the second pick there, the DB doesn't even like have to body Jax for it or go like toe tap. It hits Kobe Durant like in the chest. That's how you know it was late. Like he really drove on that. Bad decision. Take the sack there. It'd be very frustrating, but the other team wouldn't have had the ball. Now the Seahawks, Kobe ended up punching the ball on the next drive, so it was like no harm, no foul, but point still remains. Like when he throws the ball, he don't know that. So bad decision. What was the third one? Oh, third one, 1st and 20. Trying to hit. Come on, dog. Like, I get what Greg Olson's saying on the broadcast. I haven't heard it, but apparently Greg Olson kind of was like mentioned Elijah Royal's route. Yeah, the route wasn't good. It was also 1st down. You don't have to throw the ball into a tight window on 1st and 20. You know, you don't. K9 right there. You don't like it? Check it down. Lift it. Throw it at his feet. Live to fight on the play. That was bad. And then, as Kitchens said, and Cam Kitchens, as the safety is who drove on that, They were waiting on stuff like that. They knew he wanted to get the ball out quickly, so he played right into their hands. So yeah, that was bad decision. Even if Elijah had broken inside, like came around the corner just a little tougher, that's probably a PBU, or Elijah's head gets taken off, depending on how Cam Kitchens is feeling. Yeah, chances are he goes for the pick. But if he just got some Cam Chancellor in him, Elijah's helmet goes flying. So either way, I didn't like the decision there, especially on first down. You don't need to do that. If that was 3rd and 20 and you guys were down 9, sure, YOLO, I get it. That was not that case, and the game was close at that time too. It's terrible all around. And what's the 4th one? The jump pass. What? It was. I get that not wanting to take a sack there as well. I think they were at the 36-yard line, which how long of a field goal is that? I think 54 if you incomplete. Let's say he gets sacked. Let's call it the 40. Let's say he takes a 4-yard sack there. So now it becomes like a 58-yard field goal. Maybe you're like, if you're Sam, like, I don't want to take a sack. I don't want to take a sack. Well, buddy, I hear you. You know what's worse than a sack here? Throwing the ball to Darius Williams. Like, especially while your feet are in the air. Because that's 4 bad decisions on top of 4 bad passes. So I think that's where you get problematic. Because you guys have seen, we've gone through Geno games, Russ games. Every interception is not the same. Sometimes the ball we've seen that with Sam this year. Like, the ball gets batted, tipped up in the air like it did in Pittsburgh. I think it hit a guy's helmet last week, hit AJ Barner's helmet. I think he might have hit a helmet against the Bucks. Like, sometimes it's real fluky. Turnovers can be that way. Today, and which is why I was really concerned watching it live and watching some of them back, was like, that was not the case. This was just 4 bad plays against a defense that's forced you into bad plays before. That's not good. It reminds me of like when the Niners couldn't beat Harbaugh's Niners started to struggle with the Seahawks, or even Shanahan's Niners they just couldn't beat Russ for a little bit there. And some teams just have some other guy's number, like Vic Fangio against Jared Goff. He just barbecues him every time, right? There's some defenses that just kind of have that over some people. Brian Flores plays well against, I think, Lamar Jackson, for instance. Like, there's just some guys like that. This is starting to look like that, where this group of Rams, their staff, their players, their front, their back end is kind of like, all right, we know how 14 is going to try to beat us. He's going to get some on us, but we can get him more than he get us. To quote Marshawn Lynch, who was in the press box with us, by the way, violating the no cheering rule very loudly. Marshawn was, but no one had the balls to go over there and tell him. So he just did it until he left. But yeah, the Rams feel like if we can get him before more than he gets us, then we'll be straight. So yeah, I was very concerned today. That's again without the all 22. Just reading just watching the replays, watching them live, I was like, none of those were good decisions at all. Take a sack, throw it in the dirt. And if it was just this game, or maybe just like one other game, I'd be like, okay, I can brush that off. But that's why I keep citing that turnover rate number. That's a high number. It's one of the worst in the league. Protect the ball. You got to. And these are some costly ones. And Sam's turnovers, last thing on this, Chris, if I can pull up the turnover EPA maybe later in the show, but he keeps turning it over while he's backed up. So then you're hurting your defense. That's even more costly. Again, he's not throwing Hail Marys that are like arm punts too. So yeah, very, very problematic. I thought today was probably as bad as it gets in terms of just 4 bad decisions, bad throws, bad results. Like bad. Very similar to the Texans fumble where he gave up a touchdown. Bad decision, bad to spin out, bad you lost the ball, bad they fell on it, 6 points. Like just bad. Today was 4 of those.
This next one is got 2 guys. We got Eric from Twitter on Tweets Are Dumb, and we got Ryan at Ryan Healy. How bad will it be if the offensive line is without Sundell and or Zabel? Also, my imagination, or is Abe Lucas also getting beat a little bit more this season?
The numbers don't suggest any more. Abe's playing fine. Today was probably the best front they've all played. And he has some pressure on him. Not just Abe, but the whole line. That happens, though. That Rams front is good. That'd be like playing the Seahawks and being like, man, is our right tackle getting beat? It's like, well, no, he's going against Chenna Nwosu. It's like they have good players, too. The Rams front is good. And there were a bunch of plays there where a bunch of Seahawks were unblockable. Byron Murphy just blowing short yardage plays up. D-Law blowing plays up. Chenna single-handedly ended a drive in the second half. He just took Colby Parkinson and moved him to the parking lot, and just made that was one of the greatest plays of the game. I'm serious. That was incredible, incredible play. There's a few plays like that. Drake Thomas made some great ones. Leo had a couple stuff like that. So I don't read too much into how some of the guys played today. I don't feel like the O-line got whipped. This was not a game where I'm like, damn, that front beat your front, so now you're cooked. And that's also why the focus is more on Sam as it should be. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking at starting next week, let's see who they got. They can beat the Titans pretty handily without if Zabel has to miss some time. Who's their next game though? I feel like that one's a little bit more serious. Oh yeah, see, like you play the Vikings and your starting lineup is Charles, Haynes, Olu, Bradford, Abe. I could see that getting a little dicey. All very winnable games still, because they got a good scheme. I do think, and we said this on the pod before, I think that when O linemen get a chance to prepare, they tend to be a lot better, DBs too, than if they just get thrown in because of injury. Sometimes they play well regardless, but I think knowing like if Christian Haynes like, okay, I'm not going to play, or excuse me, I am going to play, Gray's out, here we go. Here's all the calls, here's all the 2-minute stuff, here's all the twists and stunts that we got to pick up. Here's all the run points and all that. It'd be fine as opposed to just coming in the game today. Like there was a play today where Jared Verse he was like, I don't even got no moves for you, buddy. Here comes a bull rush. I think Sam got rid of it on that play to his credit. But that's a lot easier to deal with or harder to deal with when you just get thrown in there versus, all right, I know I'm the guy. So I think though it'll be okay. The run stuff might take a step back for sure. But yeah, quietly their interior just got pretty vulnerable there. Yeah, it did, and that is not good. That is not good. Hopefully, Gray is okay. Hopefully, it's just like an MCL thing or something. He's out for a little bit like Spoon was, but it's not an ACL or something. So yeah, it's not good though. It's not good. But I do think Haynes, Olu, Bradford, give them time to work together. They won't be like a disaster. I'll say that. At least I'm hoping. Fingers crossed. Because if you are a disaster up front, you can lose to anybody. But I don't think they will be. I think they'll be serviceable. The goal should be here. Let me look at their schedule. The goal should be Titans, Vikings, Falcons. When you get to that Colts game, I want to see your O-line back healthy. Get there, and then that way the first game back is not the Rams because they're playing on a short week against the Rams. So you want everybody back by the Colts. That way everyone gets through that game and they can play the Rams on a short week. So that should be the goal. I think they can stay above water until then.
This next one is from Aaron Ahmad. Given how Rashid Shaheed has been used since the trade, and especially in the game versus the Rams, what do you think John Schneider's vision was in making this deal?
No, I think he's been used fine. You got to remember, he might not even know all the plays. Actually, I know he don't know all the plays. So you don't know how much he knows. You can only use him on so much. Some of that tempo stuff, it's probably harder to use him on. That there was some plays today on third down in particular where they had Cody White on the field. Probably just because she don't know everything yet, which is fine. I do think let's credit Emmanuel Forbes here on that PBU because boy, that was beautiful. That's also why they measure your arm length at the combine because he needed all of that to get that ball. But I mean, if
Sanders throws a better ball.
I mean, man, that's just also a really good play.
No, it is.
Because you don't want to throw him. You want to give him some chance to get his feet in bounds. But like that easily could have been a tug, and then Rashid has instead of we have like 3 catches for whatever yards. He instead has like 4 for like 40 or 80 and a touch. Whatever. So I think his usage will just gradually pick up. But the trade was for the long haul though. They didn't give up 2 draft picks just for this year. That's for Rashid's like. He's a young cat. So they want him re-signed here long term, probably move off a cup, I would guess. Roll with Torrey, Rashid, Jax as their main 3. Fill in the pieces. You want Cody, you want Bobo, whatever. Draft another guy, whatever. So I think that's the plan for the long term. I don't think everybody's usage and stuff, not everybody's usage, but the most of the offense functions fine. We haven't even talked much about the defense in great detail, but most of it all functions fine. Even the last couple games, it really is just protect the ball. They even ran it okay today on a really good Rams front. I mentioned this going into the game. The longest run the Rams had allowed was 13 yards to a running back. It was 13 yards before today. Can't hit him for 25. Like, this was I'd be really frustrated if I'm the Seahawks. I'm like, dog, we should not have lost. Really should not. Like, played good ball outside of like one dude. Yeah, it's frustrating. I feel Ernest Jones though. That's a funny quote there from Ernest. He was like, I'm sure you guys have seen it by now, but yeah, let me just read it. I tweeted it. I'm not gonna swear, unless you'll bleep it out. But basically, Ernest said, quote, he's our quarterback. We've got his back. If you got anything to say, quite frankly, F you. Good for Ernest. And he's wrong, but whatever. It's being a good team. He's wrong in that he was like, if Sam just says, oh, that's my fault. No, it's not. Yeah, it is. And that's okay. And in one game, it'll be the defense's fault. And then he can tell y'all, it's your fault. Like that. That's how it works. One game, it'll be Jason Myers' fault or something. That is just football, though. Like, it's okay. Like, hey, man, I didn't have it today, so we lost. That happens. That's okay. You can admit when it happens. But good for Ernest, though. He was like, nah, I'm going to ride for my dog. I feel that. As a good teammate. It's a good team. He wrong, but it's a good teammate right there.
Kyren Williams had 3 big runs in the first half, but didn't do much after that. Did the defense switch anything up, or was it mostly function of the defensive line winning matchups in front, etc.?
Yeah, good question. No, they didn't change anything. They tackled. If you want to see a good run defense that doesn't give up explosives, look at the safeties. Your safeties can tackle. You don't give up big plays. Your safeties can't tackle. You're going to get run all over. So going into week 10, so going into the Cardinals game, the Seahawks and Rams both had the longest run they had given up to a running back was 13 yards. Both teams. The Rams maintained that. The Seahawks did not. You guys remember why the Seahawks did not? Because this DeMarcado cat had a 55-yard run in the second half of that game. You know why he had a 55-yard run in the second half of that game? Because Ty Okada missed a tackle at the second level. He broke free. All right. Kyren had two 30-yard runs in the first half. You guys know me. Let me see if I can pull up my put my notes on the screen here. You guys know me. I chart every play with notes. And I put a little MT next to when guys miss tackles. You know who missed a tackle on the first 30-yarder? Kobe. You know who missed a tackle on the 34-yarder? Kobe. You know who didn't miss a tackle in the second half? Kobe. So I'm gonna pull this number up because I put it in my story today. That's already up on The Athletic. Kyren Williams in the first half had 6 carries for 76 yards. I think in the first quarter, at least in the first half. He finished with 91 yards. That's it. That's 15 yards for the rest of the game. And I didn't chart, and me and Chris went through this just to make sure. I only charted 2 missed tackles the whole second half for the Seahawks. One by Drake Thomas in the backfield, and then another by who else had the other missed tackle? Oh, Ty Okada on the touchdown in the second half. That was it. Just those 2, and only one on a run play. So if you're wondering how the run defense was good in the second half, because it was what it's always been. They tackled better. That was it. Now, Ernest probably could have got there a little faster on the second 30-yard run by Kyren, but either way, it's not an explosive if Kobe just makes a tackle. And he knows that, and it's fine. It's not nothing to really, like, super critique. Kobe tackled much better in the second half. He forced the fumble in the second half. All was fine. But I don't think it was like, all right, guys, remember that game plan we had? Throw that out. Let's do this now. No. It was simple. Get in your gaps, make your plays, go tackle. And that's exactly what they did. The Seahawks are a very good tackling team. Particularly against the run, and they weren't in the first half. Again, mostly Kobe, and he fixed it. When your safeties don't tackle, though, that's a big problem. So shout out to Kobe for getting that right. But yeah, I don't think that's anything to worry about either. And you can tell by their second half numbers there. Here, let me pull up the Rams. Rams in the second half, they ran for 34 yards, and Puka had 18 of that. Yeah, so they were shut down, and I think that's going to continue the rest of the way. I think teams are going to continue to struggle to run on the Seahawks.
All right, this next one is from RG Seattle. What were the final missed tackle totals for the Seahawks? And I don't know, Mike, are you able to look back and compare to previous games?
This was the first half was about as bad as you're going to get in terms of the explosives that were allowed. Because more important than the totals, and no, I'm not going to chart all the totals, but more important than the totals themselves is what those plays lead to. For instance, they missed a bunch of tackles against like the Niners in the first game, but because they were rallying to the football, it didn't feel like they missed a bunch. They missed a bunch of tackles, I think, against the Bucks, but because they were rallying to the ball, it didn't matter as much. Today, I think if you want to like have missed tackle EPA, for instance, Kobe accounted for like 50 something yards missed tackles. Also, he missed a tackle on Puka on third down, and that extends a drive as well. Let's see. Ernest missed a tackle on that play. Ty missed a tackle on that play. That's just bad stuff. So no, I don't think the totals are important. Today was actually, I thought, in totality, a decent tackling day. I only had like 6 or 7 for the game, which is like a fine number. The defense in general, I know this is a tackle question, but and Chris, I know would agree. The defense played pretty well, you guys. Like they played some good ball here. The Rams had 3 scoring drives today. And one of those scoring drives was a 4-play, 3-yard drive. That's it. Their other scoring drive was 4 plays, 25 yards. The Rams went the length of the field once. That's why we spent the first hour of the show on the quarterback. Like this is really not about much else other than that. And that's what a lot of people worried about coming into the year. And if you're one of those people who's like, yo, I don't care what Sam do until January. This game, you were like, yep, see, boom, there you go. Biggest game of the year. Guy doesn't play well. Actively plays bad. So yeah, I think that the defense played very solid today. Like shout out to them. They got put in some bad spots and did about as good as you can reasonably do against a team that, as Chris said earlier, was on a freaking heater coming into this game.
This next one is from Slim at Slim Got Drip. I keep seeing reports about Riq Woolen not fitting with the Seahawks system, so he's going to be gone. How does he not fit the system? What am I missing? Hashtag Team Riq.
Yeah, I mean, here's reality. People just don't like Riq no more. That's it. It happens. He's at that point in his career when people start to focus more on the things he doesn't do or hasn't done versus what he can do. DK got to that same point. Russ got to that same point. Tyler got to that same point, to a lesser extent. See people get to that place all the time. You know, Jax will get there at some point. You guys are going to complain about something that Jax doesn't do. He'll do 90% of what good receivers do, and then it'll be like 10% that after he gets paid $30 million a year, you'll be like, well, hey, we're paying him $30 million a year. He should do X, right? Like everybody gets there, whether it's after they get paid or their contract year, like Riq is in. And it happens. It's fine. But the objective, like realistic look at it, Riq's a great corner. Like not a good corner. A great corner. Like he's fast. He recognizes routes. He can catch. Got long arms. Like he's playing some good ball today. The touchdown to Devontae was a little funky. It looked like a miscommunication, but he can ball. Like he played really well again today. He played so well that they were rotating him and Josh Jobe. They weren't like, all right, Riq, you're just CB3. No, man, you're playing too good a ball to put you on the bench. I thought that was a little funky there. And it looked like it threw off Josh's rhythm a little bit. Like one time Josh came in and Stafford was like, ooh, fresh meat. Threw at him like 3 times in a row. And the only reason he didn't complete the third one was because Devontae dropped it. So that was a little funky. I'm not sure I would keep doing that. But as it pertains to Riq, no, he fits the scheme. Guys like him. Guys believe in him. And because the guys know also, they can't be the ones to be like, oh, man, Riq give up a deep ball. Get him out of here. Because they all watch the film. If they were just all nitpicking each other's mistakes, Kobe wouldn't play no more. Ty wouldn't play no more. Ernest wouldn't play no more. He's had bad plays. You know, like everybody misses stuff or doesn't get off a block or commits penalties. It's not just Riq, you know. Shoot, just Leo got mad and just headbutted a guy like a month ago. No one cared. I didn't care. You guys didn't care. No one asked about it. It was fine because it happens sometimes. So, but people like Leo, so no one cared. And Jack's got a penalty for spinning the ball for taunting. Yeah, no one cared. Everybody likes Jax right now, so it happens.
DK does it. Oh my! If he was on the Seahawks and DK did it, oh my god.
Yeah, no one likes DK. Right? That's no one like him. That's it. People just don't like Riq right now. There's a few people who do hashtag Team Riq. That's the reality. Anyone telling you he's not playing well, he's a liability, don't fit Mike McDonald's scheme. It's perfect for the scheme because Mike's aggressive and likes playing man. Riq can do that. It's the zone stuff where it's some of the cover 2 stuff where you're just like having him play underneath. I'm like, I don't like that. Riq can go up there and get the press on somebody. So he's a good fit. I still don't think they'll pay him, but someone will, and they'll be happy about it.
This last one comes from Ryan Turner at Turns44. Ernest Jones had some very strong words, which Mike already alluded to. Do you get the feel that their culture will get them through setbacks like Sunday versus the Rams?
I do. It's a good question. I'm glad we're ending with this. I do. I think their culture is very strong. I do. I think that the process over results thing does matter because it helps you not kind of smell yourself. You know what I mean? You'll get high on yourself. And you can kind of feel it where they're like, all right, we played well, but here's all the plays we didn't make. And that's why I don't feel bad when me and Chris get up here and get to nitpicking. They're like, yeah, you guys won, but you didn't run the ball well in the second half. Or you didn't run the ball well in the fourth quarter. Because that's what these guys are doing because they know that stuff matters. They know it's like, yeah, we beat up on the Saints, but we didn't do X, Y, and Z. And once we play someone good, that'll matter. Or, you know, we didn't do the Texans game. Yeah, we scored 27 points on the best scoring defense. We turned the ball over 4 times. We can't do that. Oh, what do you know? Turn the ball over 4 times against the better team, and you lost. You know, so I like that mentality, the process, really being about the work and stuff like that. So I do think they'll be generally fine. I can't think of a better get right opponent than the Titans too. So like, poor Titans. Seahawks about to go in there and try to score
Beat the
50.
hell out of them. 44-3.
Yeah, it might get ugly over there for real. But they would try to beat if they were playing the Eagles next week. They would try to go score 40 on them too. That's just how Mike McDonald gets down. You know, it's how he's wired, which is how the team is wired. And you guys, if you've been listening for a while, you know that's how we look at this. If the team embodies the coach, that's the right identity. Like Mike McDonald last week, he had asked, I think the first question on his radio show was like this softball question about how good the defense played, like the easiest thing in the world. And he brought up that Trey McBride got like 15 yards on the first snap because that's how his brain is wired. He's like, yeah, we kicked their ass, but man, I really wish I'd have called something different or not Trey McBride keeper on the first play. Like, because he was just unsatisfied with giving up that play. Like, so, and the whole rest of the team is like that. Even if they had won today, if the kick goes through, let's say the kick goes through, Sam's still going to be like, I can't turn the ball over. I got to play better, blah, 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 because that would be true no matter what happened. That's why we're spending so much time on it, because even if the kick had gone through, that would be very problematic, you know? So, yeah, I think their culture is real strong in that regard. They're going to go beat the snot out of the Titans. I think they should go beat the snot out of the Falcons, no matter who the quarterback is. And then it should be set up for a real, actually, who they got another game in between. Oh, the Vikings. They should go beat the snot out of the Vikings. I don't think the Vikings are good. So they should go win their next 3 convincingly. I should say they should win all of those very convincingly, and then set up a good game with the Colts. And I think they're built to do that. I just think today they ran into a team that's just as good as them and forced 4 turnovers. And they didn't force, They only forced 1 back. Yeah, sometimes that's simple. I really don't think, though, Chris, what I hope people don't take away is that the Rams are like not that good because they only barely won today. No, the Rams are like
good.
the Rams are really good. Yeah, they can run the ball. They're good in the red zone. They're good in the red zone on defense. They defend the run fairly well. Their DBs can catch. Like this, that's a good team over there that you lost to. It's not the end of the world you lost to them, but when you lose to them because Sam plays bad, then that's a big deal. But in general, I hope you guys is not like, well, yeah, the Rams needed 4 turnovers to barely beat us. No. The Rams can win straight up too. That's a good team. So that I hope Damn, Chris, that probably is going to be the fan cope of the week.
Oh, absolutely. Wait till you hear radio tomorrow. Oh, they got lucky. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that tape will not say that.
We can go back and look at some plays that were lucky. I mean, my goodness, their best receiver, like you mentioned, going to the Hall of Fame, dropping passes over the middle. Man, don't know how lucky the Seahawks got that he didn't catch that.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, that wasn't the Rams, but if I'm looking at it from the Rams view, I'm like, we didn't play our best game and still won. Look at it from their view, and they'd be right, you know. So, yeah, that it's not like they needed 4 turnovers to barely beat us. They're the reason why you had 4 turnovers because of how they played. It's not like the ball just fluky punt. It wasn't like some random punt returns and punt blocks. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, this is real. They're a real deal team. The Seahawks are a real deal as well. I don't feel any less about that. But Sam gave everyone, any skeptic out there left, Sam gave them all the ammunition that they needed, boy.
How far did the Seahawks fall in power rankings? Find out on ESPN tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, anyone crowning the Rams the best team in the league, I'm not going to argue. They're a good team. They're really good. Their defense is good. Their offense is good. Their coach is good. Simple. The quarterback is nails. Like that. They got attitude. They got identity. They can win at home. It's a good team. That is. The Seahawks are good too. So we'll see in week 16. That's probably your season's probably on the line in week 16. So we'll see how that goes in Thursday Night Football.
Well, that is it, folks. We appreciate all the love and support. We appreciate you for tuning in, whether you are listening with your headphones, AirPods, over a speaker, in your car, whatever the case may be. We appreciate everyone that's tapped in on YouTube watching us. And thank you for all the love and support. Make sure you go and grab Mike's book that is out wherever you can get books. I'm sure he might have sold 1 or 2 at the game today. Some fans probably came up and said, "What's happening, Mikael?"
Yes, I do. Let me get some shout outs while you're mentioning it. Shout out to Cheryl, bought 2 at the game today. Nice to meet you. And who else was the other one? David. I met David and his brother Duran. Bought 2 from me as well. We chopped it up pre-game, so I appreciate you guys. So yeah, I ran out of books today. We have those 4 with me. Got rid of all of them. So hey, appreciate that love. So if you're going to be in Nashville, let me know ahead of time. I'll bring books, meet at the game, same spiel, home games as well. And if you can't make it to a game, just DM me. We'll make it work. I can ship a signed copy to you. Just let me know. We can figure it out. I got to mail some more out this week. So appreciate that love. We're gonna have we're one big thing this week as well. Preview show, which we'll probably keep brief. The Titans suck, but we are gonna do a preview show and then standout plays later in the week. So enjoy your week. Try not to stress too much. I just read the Mariners did something good, so enjoy that. It's good Seattle sports news, and we'll catch you guys later this week.